She's our producer. Sean is our technical director. Annie is our chef, who's making your breakfast this morning. Good luck on that. She's amazing. She's also making the cornbread, huh?
I'm torturing Annie by making her cook.
Why did you ask her to do all that?
Of...
I thought that was your job. Let's see what else. Loretta spends most of her time dealing with her new twin babies, 10 months old. Sean, do we have a picture of the twins we can share?
I got to send you some new ones, Sean.
That was obviously Easter. This is Adonis. This is Athena. What else do I need?
There you go.
I love that one.
That's Hercules with Dadu. Going to play golf with his brand new golf clubs. All right, we're going to be on YouTube today. This camera is facing you. This camera is facing us. We have lots of activity today. I don't know. Hopefully some of our guests bring treats for you. We will find out. But your breakfast this morning is a little Spanish-style breakfast with a potato and onion tortilla, a blueberry muffin, some chorizo sausages, and some sauteed ruby chard that's sauteed with our fish taco spice, which is a mixture of 4 mild chilies and some lime and lemon crystals.
I need to replenish my rub stock.
Do you?
And yes, we have some treats coming.
Oh, do we have some treats coming? Good. Shall we get started? We have a 2-hour show. You're welcome to talk amongst yourselves.
Quietly.
On a little quieter kind of basis, yeah. But certainly not, you don't have to be whispering. And then the restrooms are down this hallway. 0315 is the code. And sometimes it takes a few efforts, so don't wait till the last second.
When I clap like this, please clap also. Otherwise, I'm just applauding myself.
Loretta, it was hard yesterday we didn't have an audience. And
yeah, it's like instinctual at this point. I'm
yeah. You ready, Sean? Welcome to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo Radio. My name is Tom Douglas.
I'm Loretta Douglas.
We're sitting here today in our beautiful studios in downtown Seattle with a lovely audience. And we are quite active today. We have tons
we have
of
a lot of guests today.
There's a car going up on the street.
I know.
When I came in, I saw a $500,000 McLaren sitting on the street, getting ready to be loaded onto a platform to go up to the 50th story of the new building being built across the street.
It's so crazy.
As a little PR stunt. I guess it's going to go on top of their infinity pool or something or another.
Oh, my goodness.
So you never know what's going to be happening here in downtown Seattle. We're at 4th and Virginia in the beautiful Hotel Andra, right above Lola Restaurant, if you know where that landmark is. Across the street from our brand new Neb.
Yes.
And Serious Pie and the Dahlia Bakery. I have been shucking so many oysters.
I know you have.
And we opened half shell last Saturday, so it'll be 5 days or 6 days today. And so it's been crazy. And Loretta and I don't know if you know this or not, Becky, but we had somebody no-show at the Oyster Bar, like our fourth night open?
Yeah.
Third night, fourth night open?
So what happened?
So I walk in and there's Loretta behind the Oyster Bar, who's I don't think ever shucked an oyster before.
It's certainly not ever shucked an oyster before.
And
I don't know how I made it this long without ever having shucked an oyster.
I don't know either.
Well, you got this guy.
My favorite part is with Loretta growing up. By the way, Loretta Douglas is my co-host here today, and my daughter, and our legal counsel, and part owner of the company. But when she was growing up, all throughout her years, she wanted to do everything. Oh. But as soon as she got the outfit for it, she didn't want to do it anymore. It's like ice skating, skiing, bowling.
You don't have to air my laundry like
golfing, everything. She's got a pair of golf shoes she put on one time and it's still in my cabinet in my garage. So when I walked in to see her behind the Oyster Bar, she was decked. She had a chef coat on, the apron on, her hair up in a bun.
Well, unlike you, I take a uniform seriously.
She was all cleaned up, and the counters were all perfect. And she was just standing there with her arms behind her back, like she was a prima donna oyster shucker.
Oh my God.
And it was very cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was super cute.
But now that she has the outfit, will she
And I was
continue?
I just said, the first thing I said to her was, do you know where the first aid kit is? Because that's always the first thing that happens with a new shucker is boom, right into your palm of your hand.
My favorite thing about working in the restaurants is like how reluctant any of our chefs are to let me work in the kitchen. I had to like beg Brock to let me work this C-bar. I was like, Brock, really, I can do it. I will figure it out. I promise. It's better than having nobody there, I think.
Right.
I hope. He was like, okay, if you're sure.
Well, you've worked about every station in our company over the years, so it is
total mess.
It wasn't a shock to me, but oyster shucking is a little different.
Yeah.
Slicing a carrot is one thing, oyster shucking is another.
Well, I knew I could do the rest of the station. I knew I could do the rest of the C-bar.
The crab and the shrimp and the scallops and all
I
of
figured
that.
I could get somebody to help me shuck. Gretchen said
And you
she would
did.
help
It
me,
was
and I
me,
did.
by golly. I showed up a half hour later, and there you were, all decked out in your new oyster shucker outfit, which cracked me up. I got to tell you that. Today's show, we're going to include a bunch of things. Why don't you come join us sometime? Go to hotstovesociety.com and you can have breakfast with us here. I think it's just $25. Is that right?
That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. Considering it comes with breakfast, hot coffee, and I can see already that one of our first guests has brought treats. So, it's always a good time here at the Hot Stove. We're going to have a little jump into Terry right away. You know, we honor Terry every week. Our Terry Rotaro, my former co-host who passed away last October. We're going to honor him again today with our dance party. Simple to spectacular. We dive into one of his recipes from the book Rover's Cookbook. We're going to welcome Maria Beck, owner of several unique food and coffee brands, such as Café Hagen, Freya Bakery, Hagen Coffee Roasters, Venture Coffee, and Chi.
Yes.
Why not?
She's busy. I'm
She is a
impressed she's
busy
here.
girl. On Shortcut to Scratch, what are we going to do there?
Doing cornbread today.
Cornbread. We are, or Annie is?
Well, Annie's making them. She offered, I think.
So what's the deal? You bought 4 box mixes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Jiffy Mix cornbread girl, so I got a few different box mixes, and then Annie is making one of your recipes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And your mother is the one who, I mean, as long as I've known her, we've been married 40 years. I've probably known her 42. She has always had a box of Jiffy Mix in her
Yeah, I
cupboard.
learned that from her. I'm never without one in my pantry.
You know,
so we'll see.
Sometimes you can buy 4 for $1.
I know.
It's the
It's a good
craziest
deal.
thing. Yeah. We're going to chat with Pastry Chef Brittany Bardeleben, an old favorite of ours. Used to be our pastry chef for quite a few years at the Dahlia Bakery and the restaurant group itself. She is from Hotcakes now, and we learn about Coastline burgers. You know, for the first time, we're kind of buying out from a different bakery
Some of our products,
some
yeah.
of our products. And Aaron Shepard is here. His auntie Babe used to work
Yes.
for us we worked together for many years, way back in the Café Sport days, and then in Edda's days, and then she left us to go open her own place, which is the venerable
Red Mill Burgers.
Red Mill Burgers.
Yeah, a
And
little
so-
place no one's ever heard of.
I know. So Aaron's aunt owns Red Mill, Babe
Yeah.
Shepard, and Aaron is
Aaron has his own burger place.
he has forged his own way, including forged pizza.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
And of
Good
course,
one.
we're going to wrap up the show today with our food for thought tasty trivia brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs, a path that I forged 27 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
We were talking about that because we're kind of rebranding a little bit our packaging. And I was remembering back to when we started our Spice Rub line. I was inspired. I was invited to be a guest at the Jack Daniel's World Barbecue Invitational
Wow.
in Lynchburg, Tennessee. And so on a Friday night, they give you a pint and you do the charcoal stroll, go out to the field, and you see all the smokers all kind of lined up, 140 different teams smoking. And it's a dry county, so they have to give you a pint because you can't buy a pint
Okay.
in Lynchburg in that whole county where Jack Daniel's is based.
I did not
It's
know
the
that.
craziest thing.
Mhm.
So anyway, I'm sipping whiskey, walking around at midnight, watching the smoke plumes come up from all these different campsites. And it's still one of the favorite things I've ever done as a chef is to be a judge. That the next day, I was a judge, but I was inspired by them rubbing whole hogs and briskets and stuff with these rubs. And so I came back, did it on salmon, my own version, and
Thus
Here we
was
are-
born.
Here
Well,
we
with
are
love.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just from that
27.
inspiration. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Millions of jars of rub later.
Yes.
I'm curious how many jars it's been. We sell about 30,000 jars a month.
Wow.
And so I don't know. I'm curious
Crazy.
how many that adds up to. I probably could figure it out right here on the show. What's your taste of the week, Loretta?
Well, I've been working at Half Shell a lot and in the market, and it has really caused me to like spend way more time in the market than I have probably ever. And so I've found a few favorites in the market, but the one that I just keep coming back to is that Hellenica Creamery that is making this Greek frozen yogurt. Amazing, creamy, delicious situation. They do unique flavors. It's the texture is really what gets me. It is so smooth and delicious. And last week they had a miso caramel flavor that was amazing. The vanilla malt is probably my favorite. But Amy, our coworker, and I have been going almost every day.
And it's a little bit like soft serve in a funny way
like
because
our
it's churned,
afternoon. Yeah,
churned to order
treat.
right in front of you. Each
Yeah.
batch has its own churn. And
yeah,
so,
and it's just kind of you can see them, freezing up as you are standing in line there, and it's
and so they'll have
good.
a sign up on a flavor saying ready in 10 minutes or ready in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
As I think they might have a dozen churns there.
Probably.
So that would be
Yeah.
a dozen flavors, and they just continue to just add more custard.
Yeah, it's the people behind that were originally behind.
The good
were
one.
originally behind Elenos
Okay.
yogurt. If you've ever tried that, which is
Love
also
it.
creamy and delicious, and
Mhm.
they departed Elenos and then started this kind of frozen custardy yogurt
Mhm.
brand. It's so good. So
Well, it's really fun. I don't know how they make a nickel, honestly, because it's they're so busy giving out free tastes of everything, and it's a beautiful little store, and there's lots of people there. So I'm curious this summer when there's a line down the street, which there is in the market and a lot of shops,
Yeah.
right? Throughout the year, there's always a line at Starbucks or maybe Pierogi, but there's going to be a line, I guarantee,
Yeah.
at this ice cream shop because they take a lot of personal time with each
Yeah.
customer. Yeah.
it's a beautiful little shop. It's where Bavarian Meats was for many, many years. So I would say if you're in the market area, definitely come to Half Shell, walk down, maybe have Hellenica or have Hellenica first in the afternoon as your little like appetizer.
My taste of the week is coleslaw. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, but I think so often coleslaw, like you see it in the deli counters at grocery stores, and it's just chopped cabbage with a lot of mayo and maybe some little vinegar.
Yep.
Or my favorite commercial coleslaw is the one at Kentucky Fried Chicken, where it's it's chopped cabbage, carrots, and it's a little bit sweet with a little thinned out kind of mayo-y, creamy dressing. But the one that we've been making at Seatown, the one I make at home, it's become my slaw now, the way I look at it, is thinly shredded green cabbage, same with red cabbage, same with carrots, but all nice and thin. And then we put in mint leaves, Thai basil leaves, fresh dill.
Just herby.
A lot of that kind of Vietnamese herbiness. And then we make an wok cham to go as our dressing. So instead of this heavy kind of mayonnaise based dressing, it's lime juice and jalapenos and fish sauce and rice vinegar. And it's
great.
just fresh ginger. And the cool thing about it is, that lime juice and vinegar cook the thinly shredded cabbage almost immediately. So you only have to dress it 5 minutes in advance. Matter of fact, you don't really want to dress it any further in advance because it'll start to weep all of its moisture and break down. But as you go into the summer months and with spring, think about a different way to make a coleslaw. It's great on, I did it on an asparagus salad as a garnish. It's great on a pulled pork sandwich, but it's just so light and fresh and a whole different kind of thought process. It reminds me more than anything of my grandma Fogarty's on my mother's side. She used to just mince the cabbage, apple cider vinegar, black pepper, and sugar. And that was her dressing for coleslaw. So
I like it because it has a lot of those Vietnamese ingredients, but it doesn't read as particularly Like you could use it in anything.
In
I mean,
anything,
don't
yeah.
be scared off of putting it on a barbecue sandwich or something like that because
Yeah.
it really doesn't read that. It just reads
As a
bright.
matter of
and
fact, it's
fresh.
better than the
Yeah.
mayonnaise on a barbecue sandwich
Sounds
because
it.
it's a brightener
Yeah.
rather than more heavy. So, and so the point of my challenge is to make something like that yourself with what you have on hand, and just lighten up your slaw for God's sake.
Skip the mayo.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Up
That's how
next,
I feel about potato salad.
is it?
Let's just skip the mayo.
Yeah. Up next, it's a ode to Chef Thierry and our dance party, Simple to Spectacular. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. How's your blueberry muffin? Did Annie do good? Yeah, she's the bomb, that one.
You've really been resurrecting the bomb recently.
Have I? Probably because of mine. Right now I'm using the fish taco rub the most because it brightens everything instead of salt. So because the lemon crystals, lime crystals, and the mild powdered chilies, it's just, I get tired of salt. No, it's just kind of overwhelms the palate sometimes. Yeah. Dehydrated juice. Yeah. Yeah, it's a natural product. Ready?
Ready.
Sean, are you ready? A little louder. All right, this is the time that we ask you to get up out of your chair. If you're in the car, bang on your steering wheel. If you're in the kitchen, hit your pot with a spoon. If you're in our audience, please stand up and join us. If you're in the garden, ho a row for Chef Thierry. This is our weekly tribute to the man, the chef in the chapeau. Dance it, whistle. He loves to sing. Chef Thierry and I had very different cooking styles, and we've been exploring them through his book, The Rover's Cookbook. All right, Becky, what do we got?
We've got a fun spring one here.
Thank you, guys. Our audience just went for it.
Good morning. Roasted oyster mushrooms and onions with sage. Very simple.
This is almost a one-page recipe.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the directions pretty much on the onions and where to find how to clean a mushroom or things like that, it's pretty much a one-page recipe.
And a beautiful picture, too.
Yeah, exactly. So, as I say every week, Thierry was classically trained, an apprentice at 14, worked in many fancy kitchens around France and certainly throughout the States, Chicago, LA, Seattle. And in his travels, he was much lauded as a chef.
Mm-hmm.
The chef in the chapeau, and he was one of those guys that if he was invited to do the horse race at the Kentucky Derby, like do a party back there by a friend or something, he'd go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So he traveled the country, cooking.
The world.
Well, he ended up traveling the world,
Yeah.
giving some tours and things like that. But he certainly traveled the States doing charitable events all over the place, and it was one of the ways that he could afford to travel was by doing some of these fancy events. So. I was thinking about that today because Thierry had agreed to host dinner tonight with me for Fair Start. And I knew that he was sick and I knew he was heading to the hospital and getting the transplant and all that kind of thing. But I had said to the Fair Start people, because, you have to arrange these things 6, 8, 9 months in advance. I had said to them, well, Thierry will be our chaperone tonight. And Thierry had offered to bring the champagne, some white burgundy, because that's what he does.
His deal. Yeah.
And he wasn't able to cook at that point. And anyway, so as it turns out, he didn't make it to this event, but he's still going to be my chaperone tonight.
Oh.
And I did the menu based on dishes that I like to cook, but I put one dish in there for him tonight, and it was based on a salad that we did, I think it was the Chev tart with the sliced beets and the foie gras, foie on top. And I today I'm doing a beet salad, which Loretta knows I would never do.
Never.
I'm shocked.
And Terry has it so often in his book. He
Yes.
uses either beet oil or beet salad or whatever. So I'm going to do a beet salad with the seared foie. But I couldn't just leave it at that because Terry would never just leave it at that. So yesterday I got live spot prawns.
Ooh.
And so I'm going to garnish my beet and foie with live spot. Doesn't that sound like Terry?
Beautiful. Yeah, it does.
It does.
Like 7 million ingredients.
Well, that and
and
just like the
perfect.
he likes
yeah.
just like he puts veal demi in his salmon sauce.
Yeah, he liked that play.
He likes that play of meat against surf against turf.
Yes,
in a
he
funny
does
way.
have a spot prawn appetizer in his cookbook.
Yes, of course. Yeah, and spot prawns are in season right now, and
Yeah.
it's time to get them. Bridget, who kind of co-hosts with Loretta on the show, maybe
Last
every
show.
other week, she went spot prawning after the show last week.
Oh, she did.
She did, and she sent me a picture of a cooler, like an igloo cooler, one of the
Uh-huh.
big ones, full
No.
of spot prawns.
Wow.
And she must have been in a boat with a lot of people because you have an 80 count limit, and there were on 80 on every level.
That's
So
awesome.
That's
my guess is
amazing.
she had
So
6 or 8
fun.
people out there, and they filled a whole cooler with spot prawns.
Lots of stock coming up. Lots
Yep.
of fish stock.
Yeah, lots of fish stock and lots of prawns in the freezer. Okay, spring onions. These are in the market right now. The early Walla Walla sweets are out, and we call them sometimes salad onions because they're like an inflated scallion. They have a little
Okay.
bit of a bulb
Yeah.
formed on the end. You have the big green stalk. There's a little root at the end of it that you trim off. And depending on what you're doing with the onion. So, for example, if you're with the way Terry's doing it, you can trim the whole root off because you're going to sear the onion in a pan of hot butter.
Of course.
Who knew? With shallot and thyme.
Foamy butter,
Yeah,
yes.
foamy butter. He loves that. But if you're doing it, say, on your charcoal grill, you don't want to trim too much of that end off because then it will fall apart while you're trying to grill it.
Hmm.
And it'll start to separate in this typical onion layers, right? So you leave that little core in there just to keep the whole thing together. As I split them in half lengthwise, if I'm putting them on the grill, Terry quarters them for this particular recipe, sears them in the hot butter, cooks them for 5 or 10 minutes until they're tender, sets them aside. Pretty much does the same thing with oyster mushrooms, which, by the way, are not a wild mushroom. They're a cultivated mushroom at this point. And as are most of the shiitakes
Right.
that we use, certainly portobellos, blah, blah, blah. Does the same thing. And when he teaches you how to clean the mushrooms,
Yep.
I don't really find that they need much cleaning.
Oysters
The ones,
are not a problem.
yeah,
typically.
they're not a problem. And he sears them specifically gill side down. And what I think the only reason for that is it's pretty.
It is pretty.
It
The picture.
caramelizes each little fin of the underside of the mushroom, and I think that's part of it. Another thing he does here, which I haven't really seen in his other recipes, is he's taking chopped fresh sage and he's cooking the mushrooms and the onions with the sage in there, and so it gets kind of cooked and crispy at the same time, and I like that.
Yeah.
I love those kind of crunchy herbs.
He's not
Well-roasted
using another
herbs.
pan to do sage separately.
No, he's not. But he's also, unlike many Terry recipes, everything's very particular about the way it's placed on a plate. And these particular herbs, as you can see in that particular picture, are more like I would do it, where you just like sprinkle on the chopped herbs.
Yeah.
And the herbs that work best for something like this, rosemary, like it's the
Hardy.
the hardy herbs that we
Not a
always talk
basil.
about using tender herbs, like we did in the nuoc cham and in that salad, the coleslaw, where you're having whole leaves of mint, whole leaves of dill, whole leaves of Thai basil. Here you're using a stronger, heavier herb, chopping it up and cooking it along with the ingredients. Then again, something that's unusual for Terry, at least since we've been exploring his book word by word. I mean, literally, we go through each recipe word by word. He plates it very simply.
Yeah.
They're just kind of lined up on a plate, not stacked, not leaning, not a jar, not a butt. It's just plated straight up on a little plate.
Not stacked.
With a garnish of pepper cress.
Yeah, I forgot about the pepper cress, but there it is. I was going to say I didn't see it in the picture, which is perfect right now.
Yeah.
Pepper cress. If you go along the gullies of Seattle,
You can find it.
you'll find the little shoots of watercress, peppercress, kind of growing in the ditches of Seattle. And so just
ditch peppercress. I
with
can't-
dogs walking
Well,
you know.
life is short, and this way you can make it shorter. No, it's just a new growth on the top of the cresses,
Okay.
and for years we had a lady that
Yeah,
brought
I
us
remember
bags
her.
of peppercress.
Uh-huh.
A Lao woman who knew right where to
Oh,
get
there
it,
you
and
go.
you get it off the beaten track,
Yeah.
in a creek in the woods or this and that, and so
And then he dresses the peppercress.
of course he does.
The leftovers in the pan. Is that right? Or-
Yeah, but here's the thing about that: if you're going to dress a light green like that, like
Mhm.
whether it's peppercress or a sprout, like a pea sprout or a
Yeah.
daikon sprout, it's hard.
Yeah.
I personally would just put the fresh cress on top, or put the fresh sprouts on top,
Uh-huh.
and then if you for some reason need to dunk them, put them in the dip them with the sauce. But those kind of things, to me, this is where we would differ maybe a little bit, is that's a nice juxtaposition of these heavy mushrooms and the heavier
Ah.
spring onions and the buttery olive oil and herbiness, is that fresh pop of peppercress.
Yes.
To me, undressed would be a better option for me. Wonder what Terry would say about that. Me arguing with his recipe. He would get such a
Well,
kick out of
Tom.
that. Well, Tom.
Well, I'm growing on my kitchen windowsill just those little hama, I think it's called sprouts.
Hama.
Maybe it's just hama, one hama. And
One
they're,
hama.
they're seed packets in a coconut husk, and you just water them, and then they grow so you could kind of like a watercress.
You can just snip them as you go, kind of thing.
Yes.
Huh.
Oh, and then they just grow back.
Yep, they grow back, and you've got fresh sprouts right on your counter.
And it's on a coconut husk.
Yes, it's like a little seed packet. I'll take a picture. I'll bring it in.
Yeah. bring it in.
Yeah.
That sounds
Is
cool.
this something you bought at a nursery, or where did you get this?
Amazon.
Ah, I've never seen them around even.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
and
bring them in. They're fun.
so you snip and it grows back. And
Well,
what's your
I don't know if
what's
they-
your lifespan?
I at about day 6 right now, so they haven't fully formed. I haven't taken the
Mhm.
piece off, but I'll report back. But
Yeah.
I love it. And I'm doing cilantro right now,
Mhm.
and you can do kale, broccoli, and they're just little packs of nutrition and taste.
The closest thing I've ever come to having a snipper like that is when I snipped the chia sprouts off Obama's head on my chia
From
pet.
your Christmas present.
From my chia pet. Exactly. And they didn't grow back. And I thought to
nor has
myself, what
his.
if the Secret Service saw me taking his scissors to Obama's head?
Oh my God.
What would Terry think of that?
He would love that right there. He would love that. We got such a big show happening today. We're going to keep rolling along. Up next, Maria Beck is here. She's the owner of several unique food and coffee brands in our fair city, in this fair area.
And she brought quite a spread.
I know. I see treats. I can't wait.
Oh, fun. On
Mhm.
Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. That's pretty funny. That's the first thing I thought of when she said that. Ah. So is my old team still with you? My old pastry team? David and Gooder?
No,
No.
like 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
They were just for 1 year. I didn't even know that they.
Well, he was married to Barb, who was our bakery manager. They have a kid together. And yeah, that didn't work out. Sounds like it didn't work out for you either. And Gooder was left us to start his own coffee roasting business. Oh, okay.
Mercury
Right.
coffee.
Yeah, that was his passion when he decided to leave us. He was on the line with us also. And he really wanted to try this coffee thing.
more you know, it's more, I would say, more complicated. The more you know, the more you're like, wow, these are not things that is actually whole areas that you really don't understand and don't know when it's not present. You can read a book. When I was in school, I think I could read a book and pass an exam. But in coffee, there's no ritual book that you can read. It's like, okay, now I know.
Now I know what I'm doing.
I'm ready. And it's like, oh, now I want to have mastered whatever. I think that's what I found out in being out of school, being out of rigorous hands-on education. That there's no reason to think. Even like, how do I manage bakery, roasting, and cafe?
Mhm. Right. No, it's got to go with your heart sometimes.
How do I manage COVID?
Yeah.
What Kenji was saying is it's like reading a book on how to ride a bike, but not, then you think you know how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
All right, grab a chair.
Tell me.
Do a little test of your talk, maybe.
So listen to me and listen to me.
Okay, got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
We want
So
that.
should I
We
do
want
the same
this.
thing? Listen to me and listen to
Yeah,
me.
even if your lip touches the mic, it's fine.
Okay.
Sean will disinfect later. Nice muffins this morning, Annie. What happened?
Oh,
You
I
did,
did
your
my
job.
job.
Believe me, I get worse. She's always nice in front of the audience, and then it's knife to the back as soon as you guys leave. So.
so hopefully we'll have time to get to creating your coffee academy.
Holy smokers.
Well, what?
Hopefully we'll have time
That's
to
a
get
plate
to,
of pastry.
Oh, I really hope so. Yeah.
Okay, then
I'll-
we'll make, yeah.
Yeah, you can jump, maybe
Okay.
jump Freya or whatever.
You should probably lead us. There's so much. You should probably lead us where you want to go.
Okay. Well, I can quickly chat about this and then go ahead with any of the questions you want to go. And,
Okay.
How many minutes do I have?
10 minutes.
Okay. I'll see how fast I can chat.
12.
We are back here in the kitchen at the Hot Stove Society. Maria Beck is taking a chair at the guest microphone. She is the owner of several unique food and coffee brands, such as Café. Is it Hagen or Hagen?
So we call it the way you pronounce Copenhagen. So it's like either Copenhagen, which is the Danish way, or you can say Copenhagen.
Okay. I'm going to go with Hagen.
Yeah.
Freya Bakery, Hagen Coffee Roasters, Venture Coffee, and Chi Chai. Did I get that right? Chai Chai or
yeah.
Chi Chai?
It was great. Yeah.
Tell us about you, and God, your hands are in so many pies right now. Tell us about your life and how you got to where you are and where you're headed.
I think the next one, maybe I need where you headed. Maybe I will need a little help from you as well. But, I can tell you where we are today. I started 2016. I got a very tiny shop in Ballard, which was one of the first independent stores after
Java John, right?
Java Bean, yeah.
Java Bean, yeah.
After Starbucks, together with Vivace. So those were the pioneering in independent stores. So I was like, wow, that could not be better. acquiring such an authentic, good coffee shop. So
But you weren't in the food business before that.
Not at all.
You just bought a coffee shop.
Yep. I've been business consultant all of my life. So it's like, how hard would it be like coming from this world that I'm just going to get a coffee shop and amazing, especially here in Seattle. What else would I do? Like, why not in Seattle, which is the coffee city? And that was interesting. I show up my first day in being barista in my Hugo Boss suit and white shirt and high heels. And the milkman came in and he said, are you the new manager? And it's like, yeah, I'm the new manager. I was like, well, probably very soon you're going to lose the white shirt and the high heels. And that was actually
Is that true?
Yeah. But that's how I started. I never worked in food before, neither in coffee, but I always loved to talk flavors. We always had a mission with my husband that we're going to go and so many Michelin stars and so many meat chefs and so on. So I believed at that time that I had really good sense of taste, and that got me into exploring this world as well. That happened in 2016. And then I realized what is to be an owner of a coffee shop or a small business as well, that it has so many factors. It's like, how do you order food? Who do you supply the food from, and so on. Not only the food, but the coffee, pastries, and so on. At that time, just very quickly, I realized that I'm an engineer. So for me, it's like I want to do things on my own. Like I want to be responsible for making things on our own.
Like
and,
coffee beans roasting and all
yeah,
that stuff.
I was like, I want to
pastry.
know where these coffee beans are coming from. It's like, oh, they came from Colombia. It's like, okay, which farm? Oh, but they came from Colombia. Okay. How about the farmer? I was like, well, they're from Colombia. It's like, okay, well, I want to know now. And, I said, as soon as possible, I want to be a coffee roaster. And as soon as possible, I want to be a baker, baking goods for ourselves.
Right, because you're selling croissants, but you don't know essentially anything about them.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
A, you don't know even how to make them, but B, it was the only choice was just one bakery that was doing a wholesale. So then you go back and say, how do I position myself to be special if I just serve all the items that any other cafes are serving? So I came home probably 2 weeks after having the coffee shop bought. First of all, the first week I thought, can I return the bill and exchange it? Like, can I have my money back and stop this? But that was not possible. So after that, I said, well, I want to be a bakery as fast as I can, and I want to be a roaster as fast as I can. And my husband, he's a finance person, and he said, absolutely no. Let's just figure this out, and then we'll do that further. But that's how we started. It's like, okay, we'll continue growing and learning about coffee, but our ultimate goal will be we want to make sure that we have a control over everything that we serve in our cafe. And that's what we are today. We have a roasting business just because we want to have the coffee in our stores to be the best one that we can actually taste, and then the best one we can actually find. And then the bakery exists because we want to serve the best croissant or the best pastry that we can actually have. And also to say, bringing our ideas into the real product. So that's what we are passionate to say. Why should we have this flavor? Why could we just not incorporate something that we are passionate about?
Right.
Like, why should we stick to the recipe? Why can we not do what you were saying? It's like, I would do it this way. It's like,
well, you brought us a beautiful platter of pastries and treats. Can you walk us through kind of what you have here and how unique and special it is?
Okay, so a couple of things that I brought for you, which we have on the menu since day one, was that we have something that look like a white cookie bar for you. That's it's called raspberry slice. So that's something that it goes 200 years old. Comes from Hans Christian Andersen, the Little Mermaid. So he describes how he goes every day for half an hour on his carriage to the local bakery so he can buy that pastry and makes his day, and then he continue writing his books. We made that ourselves. We wanted to go back and say, why don't we again bring something that it's old but still presented and make it in a way that it's going to be appealing in a daily life and modern world, right? It's super simple. It's a vanilla cookie, shortbread cookie. We have some frosting, freeze-dried strawberries on top. Everything we make ourselves. For example, the jam, we make it in our bakery as well. So everything that the whole idea of our bakery and the business is that everything we present to our guests will come that we created. So we will, like syrups, jam, tea. That's why the chicha exists as well.
Right.
That we are the creators behind that. Sauces, caramel, chocolate, anything. We make it ourselves.
You make it yourself.
So is Freya kind of the center of your baking universe?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Freya is the mad scientist, I would say. Yeah.
Well,
That's
I'm
awesome.
kind of excited because I hear that you're coming to the East Side, 2 locations.
Yes. This summer will be busy, so we cancel any summer vacation or anything. We are opening one location in Bellevue and one location in Kirkland. Somehow they got connected that it's going to be in the same year, but we usually want to have at least a year ahead planning because it's not easy to open one and not say two. So I'm excited for
Me
that.
too. We've got all these exciting initiatives. And can you tell us about creating a coffee academy in Seattle?
Yeah, that's something that I'm, as I said, I'm an engineer, so I want to build things. So we start with one and I build that. And we go, it's like, okay, now we have to have a roasting business. We build that. Now bakery, we build that. So now the whole thing is like, what's the next thing, what we want to do for us? So of course we can expand and say so many cafes around Seattle, but I think we need to go also with our passion and say, I came from not a coffee world. I came from a world that was very curious about coffee, but never got to find any information except for online and chat with baristas. So I want to have a hub that we can be like a coffee hub or coffee experience education center that people going to come in and they don't feel bad by asking a simple question, because I came from a world that didn't even know that we have more than 1,000 varietals of coffee, the same as you have so many varietals of apples or grapes.
Right.
But you're not aware of that because not so many people know or chat about that as well. So many times you feel embarrassed asking a question. It's like, I don't want to be embarrassed with things that I don't know. I want to be embarrassed with things that I should know, but this I don't know. So we want to make that hub to say people, local, normal people want to come and learn about coffee without feeling anything bad by not knowing. And it's
Or
something
somebody
that
like
it's
yourself
expecting.
who wants to open a coffee shop. You know,
That's
it's
another
good
thing,
to have
yeah.
the basis. Yeah.
Or even say, I have a friend of mine. He's also in a restaurant business, and he says, Maria, I want to send some of my bartenders and say, what is the perfect cappuccino? Like, what is that? And how do you define it? And because there's a lot of things like 16-ounce big cappuccino, caramel cappuccinos. Like, what's the real thing? So we want to make that education center that we can provide simple questions and answer those, but we can also tell the story about coffee, because coffee, it's very similar to wine industry as well, even more complex, because one thing, it's growing the coffee. The second thing is processing and roasting. In wine, it's more like processing, and here it's like processing and roasting, which is so difficult and different science as well. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited that we are kind of gathering right now. We almost having a location for that, and say, how can we establish education center that it's not only for baristas and expanding in that area, but it's for local people who are interested and to hear the story about coffee and say, pinpoint and say, I want to get better in sensory. Like, how do I get that? I'm trained into like quality coffee grading. So as individual, I went to a lot of training in that as a coffee expert. It took me a while to find somebody that can coach you. So it's like, this smells like pear, tastes like pear, and it's pear. But some people it's like, this is a peach or this is a watermelon. It's like, well, who is right now, you know? So I think all of that we want to bring on a table and say, it's right, whatever we taste, whatever you taste, that's right. But let's get in the same page and say, how can we explore that even further?
Right.
So
your cafes are now being based also with a breakfast program, your Café Hagen's, right?
Yeah, so we kind of...
We only have a minute, so just tell us quickly about that.
Breakfast bun, breakfast, we have breakfast, lunches, and then for the new locations, we're actually working on expanding for the afternoon menu and happy hour menu. So we just want to, create a hub that it's going to be more like a European cafe. So like you can enjoy it with us breakfast, you can enjoy lunch, you can come after work and have amazing food as well. It doesn't need to be like the breakfast food, but you can have a real food afterwards.
Well, I love kind of the Nordic or Northern European inspiration behind your pastries. I think it's super fun. I see what looks like a cardamom roll right here, which we saw all over Sweden when we were there, and it was it's fun to have that little twist going on, no pun intended. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, when you get a chance, listeners, go to see Maria. Hopefully, you'll find her in one of the shops and you can chit-chat.
I'm always on the floor. Yeah,
you're always on the floor. You can
I go to the
chit-chat.
Queen Anne one.
Yeah,
on the top of Queen Anne. Yeah,
Oh,
after I drop Rory at school.
Who?
Hercules.
Hercules. I thought that's what you meant. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Maria.
thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Up next, it's Shortcut to Scratch.
Cornbread
box mixes. Is it worth buying the box, or should you make it from scratch? On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Mr. Shepard, what's up?
Nothing. Just here to chat. I texted Loretta last night and said, what do I do to make it a good show? Chat.
Don't let it be awkwardly quiet.
I will chat it up.
No awkward
You know, we say
silence.
don't fuck up.
I won't fuck up. I'm going to try my hardest.
To not fuck up.
And this one says I'm chatty. So, chatty I shall be.
Could be worse. You want to hear a segment, or do you want to just tape yours and blast? What's your schedule like?
I'm open.
You're open.
Yeah, whatever's good for you is good.
All right. Why don't you watch a segment, and then you can see what we do.
Yeah, I was listening. I've been listening in preparation, but
She's done chatting. That's right. Hey, Becky, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. Nice to meet you. I've seen some of your Instagram. The high and the low. I love that. Will you tell Loretta what the name of your Instagram is? I was going to say Instagram, but I forgot.
It's just
Coastline.
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 It's
It's
Coastline
on
Burgers.
Coastline?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it's fun.
It's very fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went into your shop and I got a pizza.
I was listening to the side hustle.
Oh, yes.
So-
Yes.
No,
No.
and I didn't realize the side hustle was called Rover.
Yes. Yes. So you guys are neighbors. So you should go in and
That's a sugar bomb, that.
This before they were doing.
Raspberry slice.
I
Yeah.
was like, hey.
Good.
And actually, it's a really good idea when they short staff to have some.
Let's see.
I know they want to do pop in.
Not a bad breakfast, huh?
Yeah, well, how was
Yeah, it's a lot of food today.
Why don't you give that to Aaron? And Kristen can have one. Have Loretta's. Okay.
I don't want one.
Hey, why are you hating on my breakfast? Oh, you didn't want it.
I didn't
thought
want
you said
breakfast.
she didn't want it. I didn't do anything.
We're getting a lot of treats today.
So many.
Good attitude.
I know, exactly. And things like that, yeah. Thank you so much. It's been so good. Trying to piece this up. There's so much delicious. Oh, good. Okay, so I was just saying. So that was it. Just answer me. And there's so many treats here. They're really, oh, great.
Really good. Except Aaron didn't bring us anything to eat. What a jerk. Our audience is going to starve to death. What was your favorite pastry out there? Ah. Are we ready to go, or should we move on and wait for cornbread? Annie, what's your call? But they're too hot to cut, right? Let's wait a segment and we'll get started on some. Brittany's not here yet, right?
Nope.
Okay, Aaron, we're going to jump in with you. Yep. Our cornbread's not cool enough
Do you
to
want some
try
water?
yet.
Yeah, water would be great. So nervous, my mouth is just sandpaper.
Sean, can you fix Aaron's mic for him, please?
Does it work?
You got to be like on,
Gotta be right on it.
Right here.
You know,
Good.
we say in the biz, make love to the microphone.
Is it a clean microphone?
Yes.
I only make love to clean things.
to clean things.
Yeah. Are you sick over there?
Very good. I'm always sick.
Constant. Yeah.
Do you think
It-
grow out of it?
It does.
ever?
No. Yeah, and it does.
It does
end.
get better. Okay.
You get. Yeah.
Right now, it feels like it's never gonna
I know.
happen.
I thought about not having any more children at one point because of this.
Well, that was the plan, right? But then
Yeah. Best plans.
You know how that works, right? Or do you need a tutor?
No, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I got professional help.
We're back here at the Hot Stove Society, the beautiful kitchens in downtown Seattle, Hotel Andra. And we are welcoming to the microphone Aaron Shepard. He is the owner and creative director of Coastline Burgers, Forge Pizza, and Coastline Bakery, and better known as the nephew
Don't do it.
of
Don't do it.
Babe Shepard of Red Mill Burgers.
That is true.
That is
That
true.
is true.
You could. It could be worse. Well, maybe not.
No, it's wonderful. She's a lovely person, and she's responsible as you are for where I am right now.
Well, there you go. And here's the other thing about Mr. Aaron Shepard. He is literally got the nicest mother in the world.
Aw.
that's
Your mom,
true.
Kim, they just don't come any nicer than she.
This is true.
This is true.
When I start, well, in my former life, when I started dating a girl,
Uh-huh.
that was an important part of the process, was introducing that girl to my mother, because she's so nice. It was just gonna.
Like, could she live up to your mom's? Is that
Well,
what-
whatever. I didn't need her to be nice, but she
Oh.
was going to think I was somewhat nice.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was going to
Well,
reflect well on you.
She learned.
Yes.
She learned
Yeah.
that really fast.
Right.
And your dad and your mom and dad and Jackie and I shared a boat together for a minute. And your dad is like a mechanical genius.
He's a jack of all trades. He has ADHD undiagnosed,
Uh-huh.
and that's very helpful when owning an old wood boat.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
great.
There's always a project. You never have to be bored.
That's correct.
Okay, so you started out at Coastline Burgers over in West Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, or Copper.
Copper first, right?
Well, yeah. So I started out personally. My first restaurant was Hill's Food and Wine up in Richmond
Oh, that's
Beach,
right. That's right.
which was a lifetime ago.
Yeah,
and
it is.
before I dove headfirst into that, I actually visited you.
Was that the old Brownie seafood broiler or not?
No,
No. Okay.
no, it was a little cafe bakery before we took it over. And I thought, this seems crazy, but it is what I know how to do. But I should get the sign off by somebody that really knows what he's doing.
Mhm.
And that was you, of course. And you invited
It's
me.
generous of you, Aaron.
Look where we are right now,
Yeah,
Loretta. Do I have a radio show? I do not.
Oh, and let's just question for 1 second. Did you go to law school, get a law degree, work as a lawyer, and then come right back to the restaurant business?
No,
Okay, then.
it's a trap. So anyway, so you said, hey, I think if you know how to cook and I look at your numbers here, it's a good idea. Go for it. So that's where I started. West Seattle, we started with Copper Coin. And then you mentioned my aunt Babe, and she runs Red Mill Burgers. And at some point I looked at what she does and I said, she makes more money than me.
Uh-huh.
and B, I don't think works nearly as hard as me.
Uh-huh.
And so there might be something to this burger thing.
Yeah.
So then we did Coastline Burgers. But of course, my ego, I was young, and we're not going to do just burgers. We're going to do it more complicated.
Uh-huh.
And so that meant baking. So what can we do that's more complicated? Let's bake our own buns. And, part of that's ego I tease. The other part is if we bake our own buns, we believe that we can control one of the most significant parts of the burger, which is the bread.
Mhm.
It's something that tends to be overlooked, but it's in every bite of that burger you take. So if we make it the best bread possible, that's a great first step to the best burger possible.
Mhm.
So
And it's funny you say that because there's so much interest, I would say, in what they call a drugstore burger. And that is a burger that's kind of thin and flat, maybe a little crispy edge, with a squishy bun, right? And so
Yeah.
a bun is really an important part, like one half of that process, maybe 1/3 when you include the cheese and cooking technique, but it's a big part.
it's a huge part. And the way you just described the burger for our market in the bun, that was perfect. And we said, we don't want to change that. We
Mhm.
want it to be squishy. We want it to meet the texture of the meat. But we want to make the best version of that.
Mhm.
So, we market our restaurant as the greatest buns of all time.
Mhm.
A little bit of a wink, wink.
Well, you'll have to get up and turn around for us to agree with you.
Yeah, I fail there. So anyway, so our thought is wink, wink, greatest bun of all time in the form of the squishy, recognizable, the thing that when you bite into it, you go, yes, this is what I was imagining. I'm
Right.
getting the indulgence and I'm treating myself in this moment. But then 15 minutes after eating it, you don't regret it. You feel good about it. You just ate a really high quality
Right.
bread.
Maybe
that
2 of
doesn't-
them.
Maybe 2, still no nap. It's just go about your day, have a good day, and feel great about having a burger. So that's, go ahead, Tom.
You're not old enough to know this or not, but I actually did go to the Woolworth's counter and had a burgers in Wilmington, Delaware. So
How many cents were they?
I don't even remember. I think the McDonald's burger when it first came out was 19 cents or something. That was the opening price of McDonald's, but it wasn't probably far off of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just such a different world.
But that's where that kind of
like,
drugstore burger kind of idea came from.
Yeah.
Those counters that used to be in the department stores.
Yeah, and I love that concept,
Mhm.
right? Like that there's absolutely a place today for that concept in the
Mhm.
same way there's a place for your style of restaurants. They can coexist and have their moments. And I like to picture ours as come to me a few times a week.
Right.
Where I went to Half Shell just 2 nights ago. It's wonderful.
You're
The
still alive.
I'm still alive and thriving. Yeah, the space looked beautiful. The food was great. Service was spectacular.
Good.
I love the little light on the table,
Mhm.
the little
Mhm.
tap light. Very, very clever. But am I going to go to Half Shell 3 times a week? Probably not. No.
Because you're a jerk. That's
And I now live on
And
the
an
east
East Sider.
side. I live on the east side.
When you go out for a burger, I love a Dick's burger. I got
Yep.
no problem with it. But I have specifics in mind when I go for a Dick's burger. There's only certain times I go. Like I only go when there's a long line, and I know that seems counterintuitive, but that's when I know that my Dick's Deluxe is going to have a little crispy edge, because when it sits there when nobody's there and they're sitting on the table, they sog out.
Sure.
And so when there's a long line, you're turning them over, and
Yes.
I will not go when there's nobody at the window. That's just, don't go with no one at the window. Sounds like a political slogan. But point being is that what do you look for when you're going outside of your own restaurant for a good drugstore burger?
Well, so
Or where do you go, I should say?
yeah,
I know
so
what you look for. But
I go everywhere. I'm addicted to our industry, and I always want to be improving. So part of that is getting out there, right, and tasting people's food and trying to learn. And your ego, I'll mention again, steps in. You go, "Oh, my burger's better," but then you have to pause and say, "But what are they doing better than me? How can I learn?
Or
right?
what are they trying to do?
What are they trying
what
to
are
do?
they
Which
trying
is
to-
a clever
Yeah, or
idea,
like,
and maybe not.
What
executing.
category are we in here? Is it in the category of a Dick's burger,
Or Red Mill? It's
Red Mill
different.
is like and Coastline? There are different categories, right? Or the burger at the Palace Kitchen, like that's a different. Those aren't trying to be the same.
Not
thing.
trying to be the
Right.
same. And so what I always do is I go in and I order a Red Mill Deluxe. I say, hey, if they can get their name burger, you know, because that tends to be how people do this, right?
You know, the Verde burger or the
Well, you
Well,
know,
like,
the
no, but
Little
like
Woody
your-
or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
Your
yeah,
name
exactly.
on the burger is like your burger.
Yeah,
That's the
so
one you're owning.
If you
Yeah.
can pull that off, okay, this is a good start.
Uh-huh.
And so what do I look for? I look for the quality of the meat, the mouthfeel of it. You know, everyone has their signature sauce. Okay, does it play well with the meat, or is it too powerful? Is there balance? You know, I'm just looking for all those classic things. And then at the end of the day, did it scratch the itch? Do I regret it?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's worth
Will I go
regretting,
back?
right?
Right.
Will I
Yeah.
go back?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And where does the shake and fry fill in on this? Is it just about the burger?
No, absolutely not. I
So-
will, if I go out, I am getting burger, fry, and shake
Burger, fry, and shake.
because it's all part of the experience.
Right.
And, you know, do I drink the whole shake? I don't
Oh
these
my
days.
God, I can't anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
Oh,
right.
I could. I used to.
It is literally standing over the garbage can going, just let go. Just let go. Just do it. And then I do it and it's okay.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of your other ventures, Forge Pizza. And of course, we're doing some business together now with your bread bakery. So
That's right.
looking forward to that on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
You're doing great.
Good.
Good.
Just what I said, or just what she said, conversation.
Yeah.
Great. Love it.
Yeah. And they are stuffing their face. Oh, that's his aunt. That's not him. Oh, okay.
I don't know. West Seattle is pretty far from. He's great. He's great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's 3, but he's great. Yeah. So far, he's still great. I actually 2.5 to 3 was. 3 on has been.
It's like an alien. It's like, where did you come from? Yeah. 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 All right, here we go. We are back here in the Hot Stove Studios in downtown Seattle, talking with Aaron Shepard of Coastline Burgers, and you said that's in Redmond, Kirkland, and West Seattle.
West Seattle.
Also, Forge Pizza.
Currently in Kirkland, looking to go to Redmond and West Seattle.
West Seattle, and Coastline Bakery, which we have recently started doing some business with. Our potato rolls down at the Half Shell are right out of your ovens.
They are.
Thank you for that. They're delicious.
Thank you. The relationship
Wish we
goes
could get the
both
price
ways.
down a little bit so we could make some money. That would be nice.
What did you say?
No, nothing. Let's talk pizza.
Yeah, let's do
Forge
it.
Pizza. Tell
Aaron,
me about.
I feel weird about this because we're friends and I see you and I didn't know that you were doing this.
Well, you know that me being here today is a step in my evolution of putting myself out there.
Okay.
So I tend to keep all projects secret. I would have told you that was because it was the cool thing to do.
Mhm.
I think the truth is, and my therapist would agree with this, that if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, doesn't
Yeah.
make a sound, right? So if
Okay.
I fail at one of my projects, but I didn't tell anyone about it,
Oh,
did I
great.
really
Okay.
fail? I don't know. So
It kind of depends if you're Evan Hansen, I think.
I didn't hear
God.
you, Tom.
Vulnerability.
Just
Come on, that
let
was
it-
really funny.
it was-
I
nobody is as big of a theater nerd as you. So let's just
Have you
move on
seen
from
the
that
play Dear Evan Hansen? He falls out of a tree.
No,
breaks his
I
arm,
haven't seen it. No.
And there was somebody to hear him screaming.
one. Okay.
Anyway,
Well, I'm
What-
here to fall or not.
we have
And
pizzerias too, and we have
total
real,
inspiration.
we have real criteria that we like to think about when we're talking about pizza. Of course, crust is super important, but how they are layered into the oven's another thing for us. We like to put our cheese on later in the process, not just dress everything, pop it into the oven. I would say our pizza travels, but it's probably not the best traveling pizza in the world. And by that, I mean in a box for 30 minutes as you're going somewhere, but it does travel. And I had one the other night. It almost travels better if you let it sit for an hour.
Yeah, totally.
We're
Do you know what? Do you know why?
No.
Because it's cooled down.
Yeah.
And now when you put it in the box, there's not so much moisture coming. It's the moisture that kills the pizza.
Absolutely.
So I have a solution for you.
Okay.
I invented my own box, and I call it the quad flow. It's got 4 vents. You can't, when you know the traditional pizza box, it's got those little thumb holes you push for vents. But then you stack another pizza box on top of that.
You covered them up.
There's no vent, right? Yeah. So ours are on the side. They've got little wings to protect them, and they're in all directions. Okay.
Right.
And that's part of my journey on the pizza thing.
Isn't it fun to just kind of like look at it? And for me as a chef, when we opened the Serious Pie, it's now 20 years ago, when that was like my return to cooking in a funny way, because I had taken this whole journey into fancy food and doing all this kind of stuff. But when it just came down to it, just me, the fire, and the peel, and just that simplicity of cooking a pizza on a wood fire was so awesome.
It's totally awesome.
And I feel the same way about the oyster bar at Half Shell. It's like just you and the oyster and just trying to get it the most perfectly asleep little bivalve that you've ever seen in your whole life, and then do it 50,000 times.
I understand. I actually had a job as an oyster shucker.
Oh, did you?
At one point? Yeah. So yeah, with our pizza, everything you just described is spot on. My favorite restaurant of yours is Serious Pie. I just love it. And I love that you guys, you did your own thing in terms of the crust and the shape,
The board that we put it on, we routed out the board that we put it on.
And that's
for that same reason that you talked about.
You
right?
get the airflow underneath, right? And that's brilliant, and that's fun. And I'm sure actually, so we bring in our own fluted paper to go underneath it. We do the biggest flute you can buy, and no one has it. We have to special order it, but that's important, right? Yeah. And so then we look at that pizza in the same way we do our burger buns of, it's the lowly pizza. It's the thing everyone knows. We don't want to reinvent it, but let's make it the best bread possible. Right. Once we do that, okay, let's put high quality ingredients on it and you're done.
Yeah.
And Serious Pie, I think for me, it's probably where this whole thing started.
So what style of pizza are you doing it for? I mean, what's
so
the deal?
it's a thicker crust.
Okay.
And we started off doing a thinner crust, and then I said I need something in today's world that travels. This was COVID.
Yeah.
Nothing's open. It needs to travel. And so what travels better? I discovered thicker crust travels better. It holds its heat. Okay, now we build the special box. It transfers some moisture out, and 20 minutes later, you still get the crackle on the bottom of the crust, and the texture in the middle isn't soggy. It's moisture free. And so that's the thicker crust. It's not Detroit. It's not Chicago. It's just a great high quality bread. Thicker crust travels well.
Right. Fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Bakery.
Bakery.
We touched on bakery in the first segment of the importance of feeling good about your burger bun, because it's something that sometimes just is an afterthought. And people think a lot about the meat, like the smash burger, right? With the crispy edge, the ice cube on top, whatever it is. They think a lot about the cheese. I know our burger cheese at the Palace is 25% butter mixed with 75% Beechers, because Beechers, it just doesn't melt the way I want it to melt. So when I add whip the butter into it, now I get this gorgeous melt on my cheese, and there's nothing wrong with a little butter on your burger.
That's brilliant and beautiful. And you did everything right there. If it's a bad bun, forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it. So
it's over.
So tell us about your bakery and where your intentions are as far as going forward with that.
Yeah.
So you guys, Redmond, Kirkland, and West Seattle.
No, no. So the bakery is, hey, we feel after 10 years of producing the greatest bun of all time, that we should start spreading the love. And it's a chance for us to grow our company in doing something we're already doing. And we have the confidence that we can go to your shops and say, this bun's going to help you build business. Your relationship with us is something that is going to help your day-to-day operations. And so we believe we're the best at what we do, and it's time to get it out there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than working with craftsmen like the Tom Douglas restaurants. We're working with Rock Creek and doing similar items that we're doing with you guys. That's fun. You know, it's just a chance for me to expand what we're doing with our team, expand what the company's doing, and mix it up with other people of like mind. I'm really enjoying going into people's restaurants, recognizing what they're doing, and recognizing how we can help them.
Right. I was our chef team, tasted through it like they do anything that they put on a plate, right? And we were making our own in some areas. We still do in some of our restaurants, but they were super impressed with your product. And so I wasn't even in that mix. I was did you start it, Loretta?
No, ET did.
I didn't
Yeah,
tell
he
you.
didn't even tell me, and then
I didn't tell you guys.
found out about it and texted him and was like, "What the heck?"
What the heck?
I wanted it to be a natural thing.
yeah,
I didn't want you guys to feel like, hey, this guy's knocking on our door. I wanted the bread
He's an old
to walk
family
through the
friend.
door.
We feel sorry
All that.
for him.
Yeah.
He's really struggling. Yeah.
Got
This
three
is my
kids,
thought
three
process.
kids to feed. No.
I too have three kids.
The
like
team was
Loretta.
very excited about it, and
Well, I was
we
just talking to ET, and I said, hey, I'm hearing from some of your team members, bigger is what you want. If that's true, we'll get you bigger. We'll figure it out. So
that was not what I wanted. I had the burger at half shell, which is on your bun, I believe.
it's not.
Oh, that's not your bun.
No, I went
Okay.
there 2 nights ago. Ordered the burger, was not my bun.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
curious about that.
Interesting. I
Who's-
thought it was supposed to be.
I wonder whose bun that was. Anyway, maybe we were making our own, so I don't know why that was. But I thought, for example, we're making a 7-ounce burger there, which is bigger than say a Red Mill or anybody like that. Yourself, and the bun was too big for the burger because on a real big burger, it kind of wants to ball up a little bit when you cook it, whereas on a flat smash burger, it'll stay wide and spread out to the edges of the bun. But anyway, so I thought our bun was too big for the burger that night.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say that, but honestly, I thought it was too big. Yeah. So we'll solve that problem.
So
for
when
you.
you were just saying they want it bigger, it's like, wait a second. Okay, I didn't mean to get off on that too much.
No, that's
but,
okay.
What's your future? I mean, you've embraced the restaurant business in a way that I think is super positive, right? You're exploring with a craftsmanship mentality and always trying to get better, where some people are just trying to multiply their locations. And I feel like one of my concerns about our industry these days are people willing to pay for the craftsmanship. So that is a real issue that we're facing as a company, because we've always made everything, every crouton, everything we've made. But I don't know that there's a appetite for the price that's costing these days.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And so, what we're all trying to do right now is walk that line. How do we do the craftsmanship that brought us into the industry, but we run a business and we respect our customers, and we respect when they say, hey, this is too much. Okay, it's our job to figure out how to not make it too much, right?
Or you can't do business because you can't lose money either. So
100%. Yeah, no, it's a business.
Yeah.
So, that's for me where the fast casual is making sense. And so can we do craftsmanship and so what that means is it full service? It's not, right? But we still want you to come in as a customer and have the right experience, but no, it's not full service. So how do we do that? And these are questions and conversations we're having all the time. We recently embraced the order kiosk. And for us, that's using technology to save on labor. But, are we compromising the guest experience? 100%.
Exactly,
and for me, the true joy is you eat the food, you love the food, but you had a great experience. That's
you want to come back. You have a bad experience. It doesn't matter how good the food was. Yeah.
100%. And joy in life is going to a restaurant and having a great experience. Good food, yes. Great experience, yes. So yeah, Tom, I could talk to you about this all day long. But
let's have a cocktail. Aaron's
not too many.
Not too many. Aaron Shepard's been our guest. He's the owner and creative director of Coastline Burgers, Forge Pizza, and Coastline Bakery. Been a pleasure having you. We're going to jump right into Food for Thought Tasty Trivia when we come back on Cairo Radio. It is the Hot Stove Society Show.
So let's have Brittany and I'll ask her about her time.
Well, she's here now, so we can.
Yeah.
Right now. We're just
No,
gonna
we'll
go-
do it now.
I just need to pay for more parking.
We just had to jump past you because we were running ahead, which we never do.
Aaron.
Try to get your butt up. Don't eat your cornbread until we tell you, please. Pretend like you like us.
Yeah, we can stick around. I'll say that's true.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
What's up, Bardeleben?
How you doing?
Super.
Good. Hi.
Leaving for all UK tomorrow.
Really? Where in the UK?
I'll be heading to Glasgow. tomorrow.
Fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Scotland.
Scotland.
The bonny banks of Loch
Gonna have some
Lomond.
salmon.
No,
No salmon?
it's all farm salmon up there.
I thought you'd said you only eat farm salmon in Scotland because
Well,
of
it's
the way.
because it's all they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But
so
I
lack
only-
of options,
I
not a.
tend to only eat it as smoked salmon.
I
Oh,
thought that
okay.
They had wild runs
I don't think
in
so.
that part of the
No,
world
it's
still.
white. Yeah.
Was wiped? Okay.
Are you golfing? Yeah.
All right. If we go pick up Brittany now, then are we still missing a segment?
We're
two?
missing cornbread.
Cornbread.
Missing cornbread.
Cornbread
Okay.
and then trivia.
Okay, we're just going to do you and then boot you out of here.
Totally fine.
Okay.
I understand if you're scared to do trivia with me. It's
I get
totally,
it,
I
totally
completely
fine.
understand.
I would hate to have you get a parking ticket.
I'm sorry. On Wednesday, I had to do trivia against Kenji. So
Oh.
just kill me.
Did he just mop the floor with you guys?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No.
Tied. Tom and
Really? Kenji's like a dictionary.
I know.
I mean,
I thought you were going to say something else. there.
no, no, no. I completed that word.
He is and he is not.
True.
Sean, you ready? Okay. Here we are. We're back here in the kitchens. Pastry chef of hotcakes, restaurants, and bars. I'm going to call them bars because you
Do it.
you
We got
booze.
cocktails. Yeah, yeah.
booze. Brittany Bardeleben, formerly of the Dahlia Bakery, is here. You are here to talk about your new Soto.
Yeah, we just opened a third
Congratulations.
location.
When
Thank
you were here
so
last,
much.
I think you were like
I was
a week out or
in the
something.
deep of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But we're open. It's also our production facility, so it's kind of cool when you go in. Not unlike how the Dahlia Workshop was. You sort of can look back into our production kitchen and.
So are
Check.
you working there now? You work
I'm mostly there now.
Okay,
I mean, I
cool.
kind of hop between the three shops. I'm doing a lot of driving, but I try and that's kind of our home base.
Okay.
Good
So-
time to stay off the roads when Brittany
Yeah.
Bardeleben.
yeah.
We're talking a lot of bakeries today. We had Freya Bakery on
Yeah.
earlier.
Café
Aaron was
Hagen.
here. Or Aaron's coming up with Coastline Bakery, and so
It's a good time for bakeries.
But you're all sweets.
We're not all sweets. I've got a small savory menu, but we've
I
got
meant not bread. I guess you're
no
all-
bread.
Yeah.
No bread. Oh
Okay.
God, no. You're dealing with something that's alive. It's just a whole nother set
Yeah.
of.
You only like dead things.
I like dead things, so things
Yeah.
I can freeze and.
But you,
Yeah, yeah.
so tell us about what the taste of the seasons are. The Girl Scout cookie campaign is over for the year.
It's over.
How are you
yeah.
surviving?
Believe it or not, I managed to make pastries outside of Girl Scout season. No, this is exciting because I just wrapped up R&D for my summer menu. So it's the last month of our spring menu, which I believe I talked pretty extensively about last time. What's really exciting about the Soto location, other than the on-site parking, that's
Wow.
That- that's a draw right there. Is it's the only hotcakes location that you can get our molten cake flight. So it's a
Ooh.
little trio, and we designed boards just like the boards. And if you've been to our restaurants, we have little wooden boards that are custom designed to have our hot cake and then our side of sauce and ice cream. This one has like a little, it's got 6 little spots. So you can pick 3 of our molten cakes, a little 2-ounce version of each one. And it comes with its own sauce and pairing and ice cream. And what's great is
My God, it sounds like a diabetic coma.
it's not that much. It ends up being only slightly more food than a regular size hot cake. That cake is 6 ounces. So
Holy smokers.
yeah. You end up
Share
getting a
plate.
little
Intense.
more ice cream, a little more toppings, but it's great for sharing. But if you're familiar with the Soto Urban Works complex, it's mostly wine tasting rooms.
Oh,
So
how
you
fun.
can grab one of our trios and take it to any of the tasting rooms and enjoy a little wine flight with it. People love a flight. So
That's so cute.
yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And what else is coming up this summer? You know, strawberries are just about.
Strawberries
I would
are
think,
almost
3 weeks
here.
away?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good year for strawberries. I'm really excited for blueberries this year. Even the out of season blueberries I've tasted so far have had a lot of flavor. So I'm definitely going to be doing a blueberry cobbler. I really want to kind of lean into the wine that we've got there. So we're going to be doing just a big chocolate layer cake, just a big slice of chocolate layer cake that we're going to serve with wine-soaked Bing cherries that I'm really looking forward to.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I've got a bourbon basil milkshake that I'm going to be putting on the menu, which is so delicious. I didn't expect that, but it turned
You
out
didn't
really.
expect it to
I
be
didn't
good?
expect it. Well, I was going to do a peach bourbon milkshake. The peaches got in the way. It was just, so anyway. But that's all launching on June 20th. So you got a little bit of time.
Well, you know, traditionally Father's Day is when cherries are ripe.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and I would think strawberries are right about the same time.
Right about the same time. Strawberries, I usually just run a special. The way our menu is built, it's a 3-month run of certain menu items. So I can't depend on strawberries for 3 months because they just don't last that long. So
Exactly.
I'll probably do a strawberry shortcake or something which just flies out of there. So
Which, why not? Who
Why
doesn't
not?
like
Exactly.
I know.
There's
Why not?
nothing wrong with a
every
strawberry
year I'm like,
shortcake.
what should I do with strawberries? Should I do something new and different and weird? And it's like, no.
No,
it's
every-
So
just
on your
do it.
shortcake, do you do like my mother and make a Bisquick shortcake?
I don't do Bisquick. No hate on the Bisquick, but I do make our own. I usually do a cornmeal cream biscuit. I like the little
You
texture.
stole that from us, or did you?
I
give
did
it-
not.
Did you give that to us?
I may have given it to you. No, I do.
think it's in the bakery cookbook.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh, is it? She says.
That's where she gets her recipe.
Yeah, that's where all my recipes come from. That.
And so what have you made different since there's so much wine around? I'm thinking what kind of things have you made different that would pair with wine?
I mean, everything at Hot Cakes
Everything.
pairs with wine.
Okay.
We were going to talk about our butter beer
Yes,
today, which is
butterbeer.
that's one of we don't have cocktails in Soto just yet. I think we'll put cocktails on the menu with the summer menu launch, but we do have beer and wine. Butterbeer, anybody who's familiar with Hot Cakes might know about our butterbeer. It has a
or Harry Potter.
See, I'm not a Harry Potter person. I tried reading it to my
Ooh.
kid. He was not interested.
Wow. Something wrong with your
I know.
kid.
I get such hate for this. So please. Yeah. I'd never heard of it. I started working at Hot Cakes. Our butterbeer has like a cult following. We took it off the menu for a few months in the summer and just got lit up on Instagram for it. So it's a very interesting concept of a beer. There's no actual beer in ours, but it's like a fizzy butterscotchy beverage that clearly everybody knows what this is. I didn't know what this is, but we make ours in house. And we juice fresh Granny Smith apples and fresh ginger and add that to the butterscotch base just to cut through that richness and sweetness. And then we can do it non-alcoholic. We make our own ginger beer in-house to give it that fizz.
Nice.
But you can also do it with Prosecco or my favorite is with Yonder dry cider. Dry apple
yum.
cider in there is really good. So that's
And that just
totally
gives it a little fizz.
it gives the beer fizz. Butterbeer apparently has been around long before Harry Potter. It's from like the 1500s.
It was
apparently.
Voldemort's favorite.
Apparently, yeah.
I just looked at all recipes and there's half a dozen.
Yeah,
Top
yeah,
ones and-
yeah.
yeah.
I was the only one who didn't know about it, apparently.
The only place I've ever had it is at like Universal Studios Harry Potter World.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we get people coming in when it's not on the menu asking for it. We're all
Jonesing for it.
jonesing for it. It's like it's crazy how popular it is.
Did you ever see the movie The Devil Wears Prada?
Of course, many
Of
times.
course, many
Yes.
times.
Yes.
And you know, that was Loretta. She was just like the
I'm sorry.
editor.
Where is this?
She
Oh.
well, you waiting for the next Harry Potter book was that was a trial
Tom
every
out there
time.
bribing people.
I know. It's like I had to send a messenger to LA or to the UK.
Oh my my God. I think
We
I was just like a
actually
little
went-
too old when the books came out that I wasn't interested. And so
Uh-huh.
I just missed all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We actually went to the cafe in the UK where she wrote a lot of the
yeah.
ideas.
Oh,
for the
Oh,
book.
wow.
so
Did they
it was
serve
in
butterbeer
Edinburgh,
there?
right? So it was
It's it was
Edinburgh, yeah.
Edinburgh, yeah, I think,
Interesting.
or Oxford. I can't remember.
Wow. Big Harry Potter head.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways,
Anyways,
I can't believe you just compared me to the editor from
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. What's her name? What's her name?
Meryl.
Miranda Priestley.
Miranda
Miranda
Priestley.
Priestley.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I have my own stories about the other star of that movie.
Okay. I don't know where we're going.
I'm trying to think of her name.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. Yeah, I was getting ready to go on the Martha Stewart show, and I was in makeup, which for me takes quite a long time. And I was getting my hair done, and then she was going to brush my face with powder and stuff, so I had to close my eyes. And so she's brushing my face with powder, and there were a few chairs, and so then I hear a voice. So somebody sits down next to me. I hear a voice. And so then when my eyes open, I looked next to me, and then she looked next to me, and Anne Hathaway and I met eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've never been the same since. I even forgot my ingredients. Martha, when you go on Martha's show, you have to remember your ingredients and say the exact quantity that
Oh,
you
yeah.
put into. And so I was making a spinach salad that day
Uh-huh.
from Edda's, and I have these ingredients down. I put this one in. I tell it, and then I see one left on the counter. And Martha says, "What's this?" And I said, "I don't know." So she wets her finger and puts her finger in and puts it in her mouth.
What was
It was
it?
cayenne pepper.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And you've never been
And
invited.
you've never
back.
been back.
And she did that whole thing. It was like, oh.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
yeah. Anyway, back to you.
The butterbeer would have helped her.
That was a-
Yeah, butterbeer.
that was a
That would have
fun
calmed,
detour.
calmed
I mean,
her
what else do
palate
you say
down.
about it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, what else do I want to hear from you?
I don't know.
Is the space bigger? Because
It's
I mean,
huge. It
Ballard
is bigger.
ta-
We have
yeah.
a big banquette that seats 20. Tom, it reminds me exactly of the table you have at your home in Prosser. Right?
Uh-huh.
So it's like you can book that for bachelor parties, birthday parties, all that. It's only open Thursday through Sunday at this time. So there's 3 days a week we can rent it out for private events, photo booth.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
the photo booth about?
Well, it's just
fun.
It's a photo booth. It's just fun.
It's just
yeah,
fun.
It used to be in our Capitol Hill shop, but
Okay.
it became apparent we needed that space for tables in Capitol Hill. That's the one where there's lines out the door at all
So it
times.
just adds to the fun
Adds
experience.
to the fun.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I cannot go into a photo booth without flipping myself off.
You can't
Or-
take any photo, really.
I've received a few of those.
Have you? There's something about it that makes my middle
That's
fingers
your
come up.
signature
Yeah,
move.
I don't know
I
what
mean,
it is.
Don't change. I like
So
that.
I'm going to
I
come
have
down
that
there.
problem
and then-
around you also.
Yeah.
I said I have that problem around you also.
Yes, that's true. Usually directed at me. But do you promise that you and I will go in the photo booth? And
I would love to. I'd love to flip you out.
Okay,
in the
all
photo
right.
booth. Absolutely.
It is. It's the way I converse.
Yes. Yeah.
And
It's his
people
love
tend
language.
to take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's a love thing.
Well, I think of the Prosser chef dinner. I think one of the last ones we did, where it's just a line of everybody flipping off the camera. It's a beautiful shot. Yeah.
I'm not sure where to go with that,
Classy
Becky.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When we
great.
come back, we've got the lovely Aaron Shepard joining us. He's the owner and creative director of Coastline Burgers, Forge Pizza, and Coastline Bakery. Looking forward to that conversation on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
So when my sister and I were met Martha Stewart at Aspen Food and Wine,
Uh-huh.
and I knew you
Thank
just
you,
sent me a
Britt.
picture, and
Thank
so
you.
I
This is
asked her
appreciated.
if we could take a picture for you, and she said, "Absolutely." Like she did
No
not.
way.
She was not gonna flip. Yeah, and I went, "Okay, that didn't go well, but that would have been
Did she
fun."
even remember who I was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's doing trivia?
Aaron's
Aaron?
doing trivia.
Okay, you're back in the hot seat. Oh, yes. Never mind. You got another minute? Okay.
Great.
Okay, everyone's got their cornbread in front of you. We're going to find out what's sitting there in front of you.
Okay, cool.
Don't forget to make Aaron one. So, Annie, is that the cornbread Navarre that you made that's for the cornbread pudding? Okay, so that's a little bit different recipe. You guys aren't going to need lunch or dinner, are you? It's not always this much. There's always breakfast, but we usually have, when a guest comes, they usually bring something to taste.
I remember seeing you on Martha Stewart.
Oh, yeah?
I think that's probably the first time I heard you.
I like Martha. You know, a lot of people didn't like her because they have a problem with strong women. And I have 6 sisters. I have no problem. Yeah. Oh, always. Yeah. I did it a dozen times, probably. So, yeah. It was the only time Anne Hathaway was there with me, though. I mean, she is so beautiful. And of course, this is 20 years ago, probably, at this point, because I was on book tour. Yeah. So.
You know, that's totally what it was. We have a 23-year-old daughter, and we were living in our condo on Queen Anne, southwest corner of Queen Anne, and I was either pregnant and sick or with a newborn.
Yeah.
So that's when it was, because that's otherwise I wouldn't have been watching Martha Stewart.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, you ready? You have everything in front of you? I'm going to go do on this one.
No. Yeah. It's cute. There we go. Oh, there's more. Oh, that's it.
I understand. I'm going to explain that. All right, here we go. We're back here in the kitchen. It's time for shortcut or scratch. And tell us about your interest here today, Miss Douglas.
All right. Well, as we know, I love a kitchen shortcut. And so I wanted to put some box mixes to the test as we come into grilling season and barbecue season in my mind. I love cornbread, and I love cornbread to go along with. And I think it's because Mom is a Jiffy mix woman that I've always just done the Jiffy mix, and I've never actually bought a different cornbread mix. So I actually wanted to know if maybe I should be deviating. And so I bought 4 mixes. I bought the Krusties, the Jiffy, the Whole Foods brand 365, and the Trader Joe's. And then we made one recipe from the Seattle Kitchen cookbook. And I was just curious. And I will say a cornbread mix or the Jiffy mix is one shortcut that I take that I always doctor. So I don't know the last time that I actually had the Jiffy cornbread.
I don't think I ever have.
Without doctoring it,
Yeah.
because I always do. But it's interesting to kind of.
And what do you
taste them all
doctor it
next to
with?
each other. All different kinds of things. I often will heat like a small cast iron skillet with bacon fat in it and then pour the mix in there and pop that in the oven that way. And it gets a little crust. I like to
it gets
add.
browner.
Wow.
Yeah, I add cheese often. If I'm going trashy, I will add ranch dressing.
Oh,
Ranch
that's a
dressing
good
is a
one.
good call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like gives it some
Umami.
extra
Pepper jack cheese.
moisture.
what about frozen corn?
Yeah, I don't use frozen usually, but I will use like a strained can of corn.
Mm.
Or if I happen to have been eating corn and have leftovers like from earlier in the week, I'll cut that off and stir it in. Usually I'm looking to add more fat or moisture to
Mhm.
a mix, especially a Jif mix, I think is on the drier side. But yeah,
So here we go.
so here we go.
So I will add, your mother never does it straight up. Cast iron pan's a good call. Black cast iron, a nice thick layer of bacon fat on the bottom. Lately, she's been doing sliced onions, thinly sliced yellow onions into that bacon fat, and then browning them, turning them over, and then pouring the mix on top of the onions.
Well, and then it's nice if you can turn it out.
You turn it out and you get that
Yeah.
beautiful kind of onion ring top on the,
Yeah.
no matter
Pretty.
whether it's box or homemade.
Yeah.
Or my favorite thing is when I'm making grilled corn on the charcoal grill, I always buy a few extra ears, cut the corn off, put it in the freezer. So now I have charcoal grilled corn when I'm making
Pretty
cornbread.
and
And
delicious.
it's not just pretty, but it adds a flavor
Yeah.
to it. One thing I'll say before we start, or have you guys started tasting through it, is the Edda's cornbread is part of the Edda's cornbread pudding.
Yeah.
And so we make that intentionally drier because we're going to add a cream custard, tons of cheese, browned onions, fresh thyme, and it becomes like a custardy
Yeah.
pudding by the time it's done. So it's a little bit different intention behind that particular
It
cornbread.
is interesting though, I think, to taste the difference in like the cornmeal flavor that you get in that one versus
Because we use a coarse ground
yeah,
also in
exactly.
there too. Yeah.
So it's a different mouthfeel texture. I like that texture
Mm.
actually.
Okay, so what do you think?
So the Trader Joe's one is probably my favorite. It is
Wow.
sweeter, I would say.
And that's number 4.
That's number 4. But it is, I think, the most moist. I honestly think the Jiffy one is probably the driest of the group, in my opinion. But they're all relatively similar, I think. I mean, the Trader Joe's one, I think, tastes different because it's sweeter. I love cornbread for breakfast also. Like, yes, I'm making cornbread as the side for my dinner, but I'm also mostly making it to eat for breakfast the next day.
And how do you reheat it?
I will pan fry it in butter and then put maple syrup on it.
Exactly. Good girl. That's what I did for you many times
Yeah.
growing up. Yeah.
So for me, I think that sweetness is fine because I'm looking at it for breakfast. I think that it looks like the 365 got the most loft, like it's
Yes.
the tallest of the group. But I would say none of them really stand out to me above the others. Becky, do you have you can't eat these, can you?
Eggs.
Sorry.
Eggs, yeah.
Too many eggs in them for Becky. What
So
about
this
you?
one has, what I get out of this mostly differently is the vanilla powder.
Oh,
It's,
that's the
one of the
sweetness.
ingredients, and
Trader
it gives it that vanilla thing. Like, for example, your mother loves to add vanilla to her scones, and I don't like that. To me, it takes when I'm having a scone or cornbread, it's not where I want vanilla, personally. So
I kind of love it. What about the Krusties
you
one?
kind of love it. You kind of love it. So the Krusties one has no particular flavoring other than honey and natural flavor. So it doesn't have the vanilla.
Yeah, the Krusties one came like pre-honey flavor. Whereas
Also,
the other
it
ones
was an
didn't.
option to get the honey flavor.
That was the only one I could find.
Okay.
I couldn't find like a plain one.
And then the Jiffy is just cornbread ingredients, all the typical stuff, cornmeal, corn flour. And then the 365 cornbread and muffin mix has no additional flavoring either. So that's why the Trader Joe's I think that vanilla really stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks different too, like it is browned differently
Yeah.
on the top. The Krusties has, I think, by far the best color.
Mhm.
Like it got a really nice, dark, even golden brown. Whereas some of the other ones stayed lighter. The Trader Joe's one did not brown as evenly.
This has inspired me to have it in the pantry, though, Just to always
Yeah.
have it because I didn't even think about using
I
it
mean,
for
I use
breakfast
the
and-
Jiffy Mix to make cornmeal pancakes all
Ooh,
the
yum.
time.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's interesting to me that like this is a shortcut that I would take. I don't really.
I would agree with that generally, although to me, the Trader Joe's is my least favorite.
Okay.
And if you look at the box, other than the vanilla flour, it's also the second ingredient before cornmeal is sugar.
Is sugar. Okay.
Yeah,
It is
so-
much sweeter. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, that is an area. So I already mentioned that I love cornbread pudding, or spoon bread is
Yeah.
another possible way, where I take cornmeal and I'll cook it itself like you would polenta, and
Uh-huh.
then mix that into a cornbread pudding recipe.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that'll give you a much softer, more moist texture. And that's very typical in the South. And
Okay.
the cornbread pudding that we made made popular at Edda's for years and years with the spiced salmon, the rub with love salmon. That is richness
Oh my
defined.
God. There's a lot of, yeah.
Speaking of extra ingredients, there's probably as much butter, cream, and cheese in there, much
As there is
dairy in there
cornbread?
as there is cornbread.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
Totally.
and browned onions are the key.
Yeah. Brown
What
onions
about
are a good
stuffing?
call.
When I first started making stuffing for my turkey, that was one of the things I used was cornbread, but it came out too pasty to me by the time I was all done.
Yeah,
with
I
it.
like a good solid crusty bread stuffing instead. I know cornbread stuffing is really
very popular.
but it's not necessarily for me. But like I said, like I will make pancakes with a cornbread mix. I'll make waffles in the waffle iron with a cornbread mix. Muffins. I think they stand up to fruit well because they're more dense. All your
Right.
fruit doesn't like sink to the bottom often. Things like that. So I use them for a lot. I think my lesson in this is I'm going to keep using them. I don't always have like buttermilk in my fridge because I don't go through it fast enough, things like that. So the mix for me,
My grandmother used to drink buttermilk by the glass.
so did mine.
So did your grandmother. Grandma
with a
Dot, yeah.
crack of black pepper on top.
So I'm going to leave a little extra time in this segment for Sean DeTore, our editor. There's a song out there, Sean, that talks about I love cornbread. So I want to hear that song as we're heading out here.
He probably already has it queued up, that guy.
I know.
I
Up
know,
next,
so
Brittany
good.
Bardeleben is here, the pastry chef of Hotcakes on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Okay, now we're ready for you, Aaron. Trivia. This is where you lose and we win.
Great deal.
It's always more fun that way.
Sounds good.
You still have to be close to the mic.
Is that good?
Welcome back. It's time for Food for Thought, Rub with Love, Tasty Trivia. Our weekly end to the show. People look forward to this. I do myself, especially because I've won the last 2
Someone's
weeks in a
feeling
row.
pretty good.
Yes. Rub with Love is sold in large and small stores across the country, like Osprey Seafood in Walnut Creek, California, the Butcher Block in Las Vegas. Matter of fact, I was just there a few months back. They have a lot of Rub with Love there. The Market at River Falls in Potomac, Maryland, Kowalski's Markets in Minneapolis, and almost all of the markets here in Seattle. If you are at the Pike Place Market, please visit our restaurant, Seatown, for all the rubs and sauces that we make. Okay, Becky, tell us how to play the game and how I'm going to win.
Well, we're going to see about that. Well, we want to thank Aaron from Coastline and Forge Pizza to stay with us and be brave against Loretta and Tom. Each of you will get 5 questions, and the winner will pick one of the lovely audience members to get a 3-pack spice rub blend.
Let's say that again. You got a free stroll through our gift shop.
To get a free stroll through our gift shop for Rub with Love spice blend.
So, so the winner's going to get to be able to go through our gift shop, see my mom's stove,
Yes.
which is our spirit animal here at the Hot Stove Society, and grab 3 different rubs for free on me.
That's so nice and a lot to choose from. It's going to be tough. Okay. So, Aaron, we're going to have Loretta go first so you can see how it goes. All
Sounds
right.
good.
All right, Loretta.
See what you're up against.
I feel like I've been tricked. This was not in the contract.
Which herb, known for its licorice-like flavor, is a classic addition to French cuisine and is an essential ingredient in a béarnaise sauce?
Which herb
Which French
with
herb?
licorice
Mhm.
flavor? Fennel? Fennel is licoricey.
Béarnaise sauce. There's no fennel in béarnaise.
It's fennel and herb.
Tarragon?
Tarragon. You got it. Good. Reach
Think of
for the
tarragon
knowledge.
as licoricey. Right.
Number 2.
I think, Becky, that Loretta is going to be disqualified because she's challenging your judgment.
We'll see how the rest goes. What type of thick walled pot is commonly used for slow cooking and braising?
A brazier?
A Dutch oven.
Dutch oven,
Yes. So number 3.
Are you giving that to her?
No.
Oh.
That was a
But it's the same thing.
Dutch oven is just a classic Le Creuset
Yeah,
style,
it's good brazier.
but it's not called
Oh,
a
just
brazier.
take your beating and enjoy
Oh
it.
my god.
Tom, have you ever heard of a brazier?
Yes.
Yes.
I have not.
Really?
No.
That's what you call like a 7-quart Dutch oven.
No, that's not what you call it.
It is.
It's called a Dutch oven.
Oh my god, I'm gonna Google this.
I'm
Okay.
with Tom.
Number 3. Can you please tell us another name for the dish horyatiki?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you please? She wants
She's
to be
very
right.
upset right
Yes.
now.
We thought Bridget was competitive.
I know.
Oh. Can you please tell us another name for the dish horyatiki?
Can you spell it for me?
Yes, Horiatiki. It's Greek.
Horitaki.
Horitaki. My apologies.
No.
A Greek salad.
Greek salad.
All right. Number 4.
Your mother is going to be so disappointed in you.
I
The
know,
Greek
she
roots.
is.
What type of cheese is typically used in a traditional Swiss meal where it's melted and scraped onto plates with accompaniments like potatoes and pickles?
Raclette.
Nailed it. All right. 2 out of 5. We're on the 5th one right now. Both durian and jackfruit are large, strange-looking pungent fruits that are native to Southeast Asia. They're also known as the king and queen of fruits, respectively. Which one is the largest and heaviest fruit? Is it the king, which is the durian, or is it the jackfruit that it's the queen? Which one's heavier?
I think a durian is bigger.
Actually, it's the
Oh,
jackfruit.
the jackfruit's bigger?
A durian averages 1 foot long and can weigh up to 7 pounds, where a jackfruit 2 foot long and can weigh up to 40 pounds.
Wow.
Yep.
Which one is also called a breadfruit?
I think that's another. That might
That's
be
another
That's
whole one?
another one. I
Okay.
think. Okay, so she's going to challenge us, but we're saying 2 out of 5.
Serious Eats has a whole article. Braziers. Here are the best models. And what is the first photo of? Oh, a Dutch oven.
All right. What do you think, team? A half?
You're the
the best
enforcer.
brazier. Le Creuset enameled cast iron.
All right, we're
Thank
giving
you.
You're
it
the
and-
enforcer, so you
And
have to
you're-
choose.
I'm going to say you got it.
I think she's a sore loser.
3 out of 5.
I mean, like they could also do an article on the best pans to saute, but you don't call them a sauteer.
You call them a saute pan.
Oh,
Fine.
All right, Aaron, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm game for anything.
Number 1.
it's cutthroat, Aaron.
This is-
Careful.
True or false? Chicken broth and chicken stock are both the same thing. Is that true or false?
Well, they have different names. We know that.
So are they the same?
So, stock and broth, are they the same?
Mhm.
In my mind, they're the same. But it seems like if you're asking the question, they're not the same.
So what's your answer?
I'm saying they're the same.
They're the same. No, it's actually false. The base of stock is bones, while broth is just the meat and vegetables kind of thing. Would you agree, Tom?
No.
You're the new Kenji.
Is that what Kenji said?
No, that's
No.
what the internet said.
So-
Okay.
Well,
so you
I would
disagree.
I would give it to him.
Okay.
I mean, I feel
No,
much stronger
no.
about the brazier.
Let's play it
Okay.
straight up. No favors.
Let's keep
I got it
going.
wrong.
Number 2, can you please tell us the name of a special type of dough often used in making Greek pies that means leaf or foliage in Greek? It's a
Pass.
dough. Phyllo.
Philo.
Now you should have had that one, Aaron. I'm not going to feel sorry on that one.
All right. This one's a little multiple choice-ish. Is croquembouche a French fish preparation, a French dessert, or a grilled sandwich? Croquembouche.
Dessert.
It is a dessert. It consists of a choux pastry puffs piled into a cone and bound with those threads of caramel. Good job.
That sounds wonderful.
It does. Number 4, can you please name the fruit that is the primary ingredient in a Waldorf salad? The fruit.
What's the score right now?
You're at 2 out of 4.
I've been instructed, pulling the curtain back, that I cannot win this game. Would we say apple?
We would say apple. All right. Final question. Acqua cotta is an Italian word. Does it refer to soft Italian cheese, a soup, or a cooking technique?
Did you say AQUA?
Yep.
Aqua?
ACQUA.
ACQUA.
Acqua cotta.
Can you spell the second part of that?
COTTA.
And what were my options?
Is it a soft Italian cheese, a soup, or a cooking technique?
Yeah, so watery cheese sounds gross. Although mozzarella, I'm going to go soup.
It is a soup. It's a traditional Tuscan hot broth-based bread soup that dates back to the Middle Ages.
Do you know what occurs to me?
What?
It sounds like it would go really well with a forge pizza.
It sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
Personal
There we
pie.
go.
Personal
That is
favorite.
cheap and
Uh-huh.
easy.
There
It
you
sounds
go.
like Rebelita to me.
It
Sounds
does,
like you
it
could
does,
cook
yeah.
it in a brazier.
And you guys are pulling it all together. I love this game.
Really angry. They're really angry today.
Well, they're 4 out of 5. We had a 3, a 4, and now Tom, it's your turn, and let's see how it's going to go.
All right.
In the classic children's song, "The Farmer in the Dell," what food item stands alone?
Dairy. The Dario. the Dario.
The cheese.
That's dairy.
That's dairy.
Yeah.
The primary theme behind the
You're
song.
gonna give him that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys got
Oh my God.
big leverage or big something. All right. Number 2, what is the most important foodstuff for more than a third of the world's population?
The most important food stuff, is that what you said?
Yes.
Rice.
Rice. You got it. Good job. Number 3, can you please name the traditional Scandinavian food that is made by brining white fish in lye, soaking it in water to remove the resulting caustic solution, and then steaming it until it flakes?
Mm.
Ugh.
Mm.
Loretta, do you know this one?
God. Yeah, and it's like there is no reason for it to exist.
Uh-huh.
Lutefisk.
You got it. That
Yeah.
gelatinous.
It's like gefilte fish.
Yeah.
That your husband likes, right?
No.
Oh, he doesn't
No
like
one
gefilte.
likes gefilte fish.
Oh my God! You even look at it in the jar; it looks terrible.
It's tradition.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. Number 4, do brown or yellow mustard seeds pack more heat and pungency? A brown or a yellow?
Boy, that's
We just did a
toughie.
mustard
I
tasting.
know that's a toughie. I'm going to say yellow.
It's actually the brown.
Yeah.
Good try. Okay, final question. See if you're going to tie with Aaron. What is the name of the traditional sweet and sour sauce in Italian cuisine? It's a versatile condiment that's both sour and sweet.
Yeah, I know this. It's not agrodolce, is it? No.
Is that your answer?
No.
I'm not getting tricked this time.
I'm trying to think of it. Yeah, I'm going to go with agrodolce.
It is.
Yeah.
You got it. Okay, so we got a tie. We got one tiebreaker.
Okay.
And whoever just shouts it out first. If one was whipping up egg whites, sugar and cream of tartar, what would they be making?
Meringue.
Nailed it. Tom, 3
3 weeks in a row. I was trying to give you time, Aaron, but that was.
I'm following directions.
Sure.
All right. Good job, Aaron.
Thank you.
And now I know what a brazier is, Loretta. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
If you want to be part of this very fun show, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or just buy a ticket to join us in studio. Everyone here today is stuffed to the gills, I believe. Show is produced by Becky Guzak. Our technical wizard is Sean McFadden. Our loser of the our loser today is Loretta Douglas.
Wow.
And our Cairo editor
He's
is
added
Sean.
that.
Don't call me Del Torre. Miss any episode of Hot Stove Society Show on 97.3, you can listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening.
All right. And then last thing, quiet on the set, Annie. Hi, I'm Tom Douglas.
I'm Loretta Douglas.
Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we welcome Maria Beck from Café Hagen and Freya Bakery on Shortcut or Scratch. Let's eat some cornbread. And we talk with Aaron Shepard about Coastline Burgers, Forge Pizza, and the Coastline Bakery.
It is Café Hagen. Do you want to redo that one?
We welcome Maria Beck from Café Hagen and Freya Bakery. Thanks, Sean.
All right, you guys. And